In early October, a big car parts company called First Brands Group went bankrupt. It had $11 billion in debt and shocked the whole financial system. Thousands of jobs disappeared within hours, leaving many families without income. A company that worked with First Brands lost 80% of its money overnight. Loans that were once safe became almost worthless, worth only 36 cents per dollar. Millions of people lost money without even knowing what happened. But the scary part isn't just one company's failure. It feels like something we've seen before, like the 2008 financial crisis. The danger is not only in banks this time. It's also in your pension fund, your bonds, and even your workplace. Let's find out what's really happening behind the fall of American companies. First Brands Group made car parts and wasn't a famous name. But in October 2025, it became the first spark of a financial fire. The company failed to pay over $1 billion it owed. Investigations found $2.3 billion in hidden debt through fake accounting tricks. Because of that, another company named Raystone lost most of its business. Raystone had to fire half of its employees within days. Loans connected to these companies dropped in value almost instantly. Money that once felt safe became almost worthless. How did it happen so fast? Because First Brands was already a zombie company. It wasn't making real profit for years. It only survived by borrowing new money to pay old debts. It's like paying one credit card with another. When the truth came out, investors felt cheated and scared. This isn't just a Wall Street story. It's about real people like Joe, a 58-year-old from Ohio. Joe worked in the auto industry for 30 years. He lost his job and his retirement savings dropped by 15%. His dream of a peaceful retirement disappeared overnight. And Joe isn't alone. Millions of Americans are unknowingly investing in dying companies. They think they're supporting the economy, but they're feeding a debt machine. This is how the 2008 crash began. One company failed, then another, until the whole system broke. 17 years later, we're making the same mistake again. Now there's a new danger: the shadow banking system. It's like a hidden world of lending worth over $2 trillion. Private credit funds act like banks but without rules or safety nets. They lend risky money and sell those loans to pension funds. It's very similar to the 2008 housing crash. The risk is now in people's savings, not in banks. If these companies can't repay their debts, the damage will spread fast. Funds will collapse, and retirement money will disappear. And this time, there might be no government rescue. People could wake up one day and find their savings gone. In 2008, the time bomb was inside banks. In 2025, it's inside ordinary people's wallets. We all remember 2008, when big names vanished overnight. Millions lost homes and jobs, and everyone promised it would never happen again. But here we are, repeating the same story with new names. Experts now warn that over $3 trillion in credit could soon default. Even giant companies like Blackstone and Citigroup are losing value. The biggest loss, though, is trust, and trust keeps the market alive. Greed makes people forget the pain of the past. They borrow more, hide risks, and act like everything is fine. But everything looks safe right before it collapses. For Wall Street, it's just numbers. For regular people, it's their homes, their savings, and their dreams. When money disappears, hope disappears too. That's the true cost of America's silent collapse. The house you thought you'd sell for retirement might not even find a buyer. Oil prices are collapsing, and while that sounds good for gas prices, it's actually a sign of a deep recession coming. Remember, the 2008 crisis didn't start with mass unemployment or bankruptcies. It started with numbers that didn't look dangerous until they suddenly were. Like a snowball rolling downhill, small problems grew faster and faster until no one could stop them. There's an old saying, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And in 2025, those rhymes are clear: rising debt, overpriced assets, hidden risks, and fading trust. The only difference this time is that the danger isn't in the banks. It's in your own savings, retirement fund, and wallet. If history knocked once and we ignored it, will it break down the door next time? The real problem now isn't about numbers, but about where the risk is hiding. And that's exactly what we need to uncover. Here's the hard truth. In 2008, the danger was in big banks, where the Federal Reserve could step in to save them. But in 2025, the risk isn't on Wall Street anymore. It's in your wallet, your retirement account, and your savings fund. Before, the risk was in a few large banks. When they failed, the government could inject money and stabilize the system. Now, the risk is spread across everyone. It sounds fair, but it means everyone shares the losses too. Imagine this. Before, one person was carrying the whole truck down a hill. Now, millions of people are each holding one wheel. It feels lighter, but when the truck loses control, everyone gets hurt. Private credit funds, which hold trillions of dollars, have no backup plan. There are no strict rules, no safety nets, and no government rescue ready. When companies start to fail, money doesn't disappear from Wall Street, it disappears from your account. Let's look at the numbers. American pension funds hold hundreds of billions of dollars in private credit. Insurance companies and small investors also have money tied up in these risky products. The problem is, no one is there to save them when things go bad. When a company like First Brands collapses, the value of investments can drop 30% or more in days. There's no bailout, no government rescue, just an email from your fund saying your money is gone. David, a 67-year-old from Arizona, worked and saved for 40 years. He never took risks and invested in a safe bond fund. But that fund lost 25% of its value because of risky loans he didn't even know about. David didn't do anything wrong. He was just caught in a system where financial corporations make decisions, and ordinary people pay the price. Experts call this financial innovation, but it's really like putting a bomb in people's pockets. This system is turning normal people into shock absorbers for the economy. The question now isn't if the economy will collapse, but who will pay when it does. If the answer is people like you and me, maybe it's time to rethink this game. And if you think things can't get worse, remember the final blow isn't just financial. It will hit the lives of ordinary American families. Every crisis has a domino effect. And the last domino to fall is always ordinary people, not big banks or corporations. It's you, me, and everyone living on a monthly paycheck. Millions of jobs in the US depend on zombie companies. These are businesses that only survive by borrowing more money to pay old debts. When their funding stops, they collapse, and that means massive job losses. It's simple. When a big company fails, suppliers lose clients, workers lose jobs, and families lose income. A study says each major bankruptcy could cause up to 10,000 job losses. With hundreds of weak companies out there, the total could reach millions. No job means no income. No income means you can't pay your mortgage. And when foreclosures start again, like in 2008, millions could lose their homes. Joe, a 67-year-old from Ohio, worked 30 years at the same company. Now he's jobless, his savings have lost 30% of their value, and his house might be taken by the bank. Joe didn't do anything wrong. He just lived in a system where, when things go wrong, the poor are the first to suffer. When companies go bankrupt, funds collapse, small businesses lose access to loans, and inflation keeps rising. Prices go up for everything, especially food and transport. When trucks stop moving, the price of beef, bread, and even toilet paper increases. A pound of beef that used to cost $6 could cost $12. The weekend barbecue, a symbol of middle-class life, becomes a luxury. In past crises, the rich and big corporations were rescued because they were too big to fail. But people like Joe, teachers, drivers, and factory workers, they're too small to save. They don't get bailouts. They only get bills, loans, and sleepless nights. And that raises the hardest question: if the middle class keeps suffering every time the system breaks, is the American dream still alive, or just a story we tell ourselves to forget the pain? But there's still hope. There's a way out of this spiral, but it needs sacrifice, change, and courage. And the question is America ready for that? Let's imagine what would happen if the 2025 crash really happened. Not a warning, a reality. The credit market freezes. More than $3 trillion in loans start to default. Private credit funds dry up, and businesses can't borrow money. Salaries stop, supply chains break, and zombie companies collapse within weeks. The stock market might even close because of panic. People open their investment accounts and see their savings drop by half. House prices crash. A home once worth $500,000 might not sell for more than $320,000. The dream home with a green lawn becomes a burden of debt. Oil prices fall from $100 to $35 a barrel. Gas becomes cheap, but only because millions have no job to drive to. Joe's story becomes everyone's story. Retirees watch their 401k savings shrink by half. Students can't get loans. Local businesses close. Stability no longer means owning a house or car. It just means surviving another month without selling something valuable. Then the worst thing happens: people lose trust. Not just in the market, but in the entire system. When trust disappears, people stop spending, stop investing, and pull money out. The fall becomes unstoppable. If 2008 was a painful fall, 2025 could be a free fall with no safety net. So the real question isn't, will it happen? It's, if it happens, are you ready to survive it? Here are a few things you can do. First, keep more cash than usual. In a crisis, cash is oxygen, it keeps you alive. Second, don't put all your money into one thing. Spread it out, invest in gold, stable companies, or valuable goods. Third, invest in yourself. Skills and knowledge can't be taken away. They will help you rebuild even when everything else is lost. And remember, every crisis has winners. They're not always the smartest, but they're the ones who prepared early. So if the collapse comes tomorrow, which side will you be on? The side that gets crushed, or the side that stands tall and finds opportunity? Because in the end, every empire falls from within, not from a lack of money, but from a loss of trust and the refusal to see danger until it's too late. Now it's your turn to think. Can this system still be saved, or have we passed the point of no return? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this helpful, subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay informed, stay aware, because knowledge is your best protection in uncertain times.